Afternoon baseball back in Walnut Creek, California at Monte Vista High School for Game 2. Walnut Creek Crawdads hosting the San Luis Obispo Blues in the CCL North matchup. Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the broadcast booth. My name is Nate Mills, calling the balls and strikes and much more on the SLO Blues streaming network for this 4 o'clock first pitch game between the Walnut Creek Crawdads and the SLO Blues. A couple of things to look out for in tonight's game. The pitching is numero uno priority for San Luis Obispo. Tonight on the mound, they have Thomas Harper, the Redbird from Illinois State, and they're going to need a lot of innings from the kid. San Luis Obispo only working with 1.5 relief pitchers right now. Jack Sand, who pitched yesterday, the UW Husky, faced 3 batters. He walked all 3 of them, so the pitch count stayed relatively low. You have to imagine that he'll be the first guy to come out of Dean Trainer's bullpen, and he's got a couple arms after that. There's Eric Kispojunius hanging out in the dugout as well, but honestly, from what I've heard from the staff and from around the field during batting practice, expect some position players out there. I've heard the names of E.J. Royal and Brendan Comerford potentially making their debuts out on the rubber for San Luis Obispo. So it should be an interesting one here for the Blues after a 20-8 loss yesterday to the same exact team in the Walnut Creek Crawdads, wanting to get redemption here at Monte Vista High School Field. But we'll take you back to the diamond here for first pitch. Leading things off for San Luis Obispo, it's E.J. Royal. Matter of fact, while we're at it, let's go through the entire Blues lineup. So E.J. Royal leads things off. Then it's Braden Jeffries. Jariah Lewis bats third. Casey Borba cleaning it up in the 4th spot. Parker Goff, Brendan Comerford, Bryson Hoyer, Zach Tollerman, and Gavin Constantine rounding things out in the 9-hole. That's first pitch swinging for strike 1 to E.J. Royal. He hit it hard down the right field line. No balls and 1 strike. Here's the defensive alignment, but before we get into that, first pitch was fired off at 4:06 p.m. here at Monte Vista High School, as swinging and missing for strike 2 is E.J. Royal. 4:06 was the time, and it's a 77-degree afternoon here in Walnut Creek. Couldn't write a better day in your journal of hopes and aspirations if you wanted to. As Royal spoils this one down the right field line, right in front of the Crawdads bullpen, which is exposed and in foul territory, stays alive at no balls and 2 strikes. So 77-degree day, 4:06 first pitch. Here's the defensive alignments for the Walnut Creek Crawdads. Behind the dish, it's Owen Firestone, as Firestone blocks that one in the dirt, keeps it in front. 1 ball and 2 strikes to E.J. Royal. Firestone catching. Over at first base is Cole Kosciuszko. At second base, it's Ben Royal. At third, it's Isaiah Walker. Shortstop, it's Cam Calvillo. Outfield left to right is Jackson Bird, Casey Cummings, and Aiden Camberg for the Crawdads. And on the mound for Walnut Creek, Zach Royce, the right-hander who's now even in the cap to E.J. Royal, the leadoff man. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Royal fills out the whole batter's box with his wide 2-strike stance, holds up his swing, and goes down looking. Strikeout to get things going here in the top of the first inning, and there's 1 away. EJ, after recording his first home run of the season yesterday, goes down on strikes to begin things here in Game 2 against Walnut Creek. San Luis Obispo plays the Crawdads 2 more times this season, but they'll be doing so at their own crib back at Sinsheimer later in July. As Braden Jeffries looks at that fastball, outer half of the zone for strike 1. Debatable call for the left-handed hitter going to Michigan next season, but he digs back in here in an 0-1 count. As coming set is Royce. Now he delivers another fastball, just missing downstairs. 1 ball and 1 strike to the Wolverine. More on Zach Royce, the roadrunner from UTSA and a native of Katy, Texas. Has spent 2 seasons so far at University of Texas San Antonio. As Jeffries takes a look at strike 2, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Some metrics for you. Fastball typically lives around the 91 to 94 range. And it's evident right now as he is just popping the mitt of the catcher early on. As there's a changeup from him, he gets Jeffries to go fishing for it. It's a drop third. They throw to first, get him in time for the second out of the inning. Back-to-back Ks here for Zach Royce. And now there's 2 gone here for Jariah Lewis, the right fielder, batting left-handed from San Jose State. So the fastball 91 to 94. How about 2,600 rotations per minute on the Roadrunner? He also got a slider at 78 to 81. And then that changeup that we just saw to Jeffries, 84 to 87 miles per hour. So some good stuff to go to in that back pocket for the Roadrunner from University of Texas, San Antonio. As this one gets spiked in the dirt, catches Firestone in the face, also gets the umpire in the abdomen. Everyone seems to be okay as Firestone takes his time walking back towards the mound. 1 ball and no strikes. First pitch Jariah Lewis just saw a bouncing fastball in front of home plate. Lewis on the season has 8 hits in his 45 at-bats. 5 runs batted in, 2 extra base hits. It's 2 triples. Trying to find his stride as we are officially at the halfway mark of the season. Game 22 for San Luis Obispo of the 44 they play in the summer of 2024. And Jariah Lewis has a 178 batting average. Trying to get that up as soon as he can as Firestone takes another shot in the gut. Foul tip right into his belly button. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jariah Lewis. Chilling on deck, it's Casey Borba, the third baseman, batting cleanup. Hit his first home run of the season here at this exact field, and it was a nuke out to left center. Wants to replicate that here. Try to be the spark plug for the Blues and attack first after that 20-8 loss they took. Hard hit, bouncing ball on the right side. It gets through the diving attempt from Kosciuszko for a base hit. Down the first base line, and Jariah Lewis can cruise into second with a 2-out double. Third extra base hit of the year for Jariah, and it's good for 2 bases to keep things alive in the first inning. So now Casey Borba wants to make it hurt with a runner in scoring position now. 2 gone here for the infielder from Texas. Borba this season, in his short time with San Luis Obispo, he has 3 hits in his 10 at-bats. And according to my math, that's a 300 batting average. Feet stacked near the back of the right-handed batter's box with the left heel lifted off the ground as he shakes his hands right next to his right ear, and a huge swing and a miss on that slider for strike 1. Talk about the slider from Zach Royce. We looked at the rotations per minute at 2,600 RPM. We could feel every rotation there off the big swing and a miss from Casey Borba, who waves his ash bat above the top of his head. Jariah Lewis skips at second base, and Royce comes home and misses just downstairs on the fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Two gone, back-to-back strikeouts from E.J. Royal and Braden Jeffries. Top of the first inning here at Monte Vista High School. Fastball, outer half of the zone, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And I'm already noticing a trend here with how the strikes and balls are called. Don't matter if you're left-handed or if you're right-handed. That umpire is favoring the outer half of the zone. If I'm Thomas Harper, I'm taking some notes there in the dugout. I want to make sure I can go as long as possible because I'm aware of the bullpen situation for my team. This one's cued straight back for strike 2. Staying alive here with 2 strikes. Good job fighting off that slider. Started in the middle of the zone, broke out of it, and Borba was able to get some lumber on it, staying alive here at 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 gone here. San Luis Obispo looking to strike first as Borba leans back in his stance, now stands upright. Look over to second base from Royce. He kicks and fires. Fastball missing low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs and a runner on second base here for the Blues in the first inning. Borba from Santa Ana, California, and a graduate of Orange Lutheran High School, where his father, Eric, is the head coach. Skies this one down the right field line. That's going to fall into the Walnut Creek bullpen as well. Staying alive at 2 strikes. We'll do it again at 2-2 to Casey Borba, who competed in USA Baseball 2022 Prospect Development League. And he certainly shows it when you see him walking around the facility at Sinsheimer or wherever we're playing. He's got the USA backpack. He's currently wearing the Stars and Stripes batting gloves right now. Fastball skipping in the dirt. Good read from Jariah. Firestone can't find it, but holding up at third base is Jariah Lewis on the good dirt ball read. A stolen bag for the Spartan. That's Lewis's 5th stolen base of the season. Slowly creeping up to the 14 that Jake Hicksonbaugh has. He leads the team. Talked to Jariah when he first came to San Luis Obispo. One of his goals for this summer was to catch up to Hicksonbaugh and surpass him in that stolen base leader for the Blues. Here's the payoff pitch. Borba hits this one in the air, up and out of play. Good battle here from the Longhorn against Zach Royce in the first inning. Still 3 balls and 2 strikes. So Jariah Lewis kept this inning alive with a double after back-to-back strikeouts E.J. Royal and Braden Jeffries. He was at second base but took off for third, and a nice dirt ball read from Zach Royce. Owens Firestone couldn't find it. Lewis held up at third, and now the go-ahead run is 90 feet away for Borba. 3-2. Hits it hard up the middle. That's a base hit. Scalded off the bat of the Longhorn, and there's the first run of the inning. Nice piece of hitting from Casey Borba. San Luis Obispo strikes first. Loud off the bat from Casey as he's now on first base with a 2-out rally. Back-to-back base hits for the Blues, and they're in business. Timely hitting for San Luis Obispo, and that's been the biggest difference between the team this season and the team last season. The bats are coming through when it counts. They're getting runners in scoring position. They've hit a few skids throughout this early season so far, but Borba is changing the script there as Parker Goff, the catcher from Utah, fouls that one up and out of play. No balls and 1 strike as Casey Borba is at first base after that hard-hit RBI single to get things going. Goff this season has 8 hits in his 24 at-bats. He's driven in 1 run. He goes fishing for the slider. No balls and 2 strikes to the Harriman, Utah native. Steps back in, takes his time getting the box, adjusts the top of his helmet. Now the Harriman, Utah native digs in, choking up on the bat. Leaves that one bouncing in front of home plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Entering his junior season with the Cougars out in Provo. Had a blast last season where he was second on the team in batting average and on base percentage. 239 and 403 respectively in those categories. Royce serves him a fastball and he ropes it down the line. That's a fair ball. Rounding first is Goff, and heading towards third is Borba. He gets the way from Regalado. The throw comes into the plate. It's offline. 2-0 San Luis Obispo on the RBI double from Parker Goff. 3 hits in a row. And once again, it's that timely hitting from the Blues coming through when it counts. They strike first here with 2 runs in the first inning. Jariah Lewis came around to score after he hit a base hit early on, and Casey Borba just scored from the bat of Parker Goff. 2-0 ball game for the Blues. And now it's Brendan Comerford. He's got a runner in scoring position with 2 gone. Comerford tucks his hands towards his body and leaves the first pitch offering for ball 1. Local kid from Pleasanton, California. Pretty short drive here from Walnut Creek, just a few miles south. He leaves the fastball outside. 2 balls and no strikes to the Ohlone College Renegade. Had some fun last season as well. 39 runs batted in his 52 hits. A .658 slugging percentage. Check swing from Comerford there. 2 balls and 1 strike. It was a changeup downstairs. Started in the middle of the zone. Completely broke out of it. Good pitch there from Zach Royce. Season, Comerford leads the team in doubles with 7 on the Blues as he fouls this one up and out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He's currently batting a .218 average with 11 runs batted in. 8 extra base hits. That leads the team. As the 2-2 is swung on and missed for strike 3. So Zach Royce went back with the slider, and the Blues strand a runner on second base, but the damage has been done. An RBI single from Casey Borba and an RBI double from Parker Goff. It's a 2-0 ball game in favor of San Luis Obispo. We'll head on the bottom of the first inning. I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blues streaming network. Bottom of the first after San Luis Obispo struck first in the top half of this inning. Timely hitting with 2 outs from Casey Borba and Parker Goff gives San Luis Obispo the 2-0 advantage over Walnut Creek as the Dads get their first opportunity against Thomas Harper. The Redbird from Illinois State University making his second start of the season for San Luis Obispo as the first pitch offering to Casey Cummings has taken strike 1. So Casey Cummings leads things off. He's the leadoff man. Then it's Cam Calvillo, Cole Kosciuszko, Isaiah Walker, Aiden Camberg, Ben Royo, Jackson Bird, and Nico Azpelcueta. And then it's Owen Firestone rounding it out in the 9 spot. Casey Cummings took ball 1 just now. It's now a 1-1 count to the Texan who had 2 home runs last night. Or excuse me, just the 1 home run from Casey Cummings. He had a 1-for-4 evening. Also had a walk and 2 strikeouts. And he's down 1-2 to Thomas Harper. Choking up on his back. Here's the 1-2. Skipping the dirt. Nice block from Goff. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cummings, this is his 3rd school at the University of Texas. He's entering his senior season with the Longhorns. Spent 2 years at Chabot College and 1 at USD down in San Diego. Hits this one hard into center field. E.J. Royal trying to read it. He gets it with no problem. A few steps to his right, and there's the first out of the inning. Liner to center field from Casey Cummings. Easy work for Thomas Harper, and now it's Cam Calvillo, the shortstop, batting second. And Thomas Harper wants to get outs like that for the majority of his outing. I mentioned it just before first pitch was underway, but the Blues are going to need some length from Harper this afternoon. As Calvillo takes a look at strike 1. The bullpen has been absolutely taxed for San Luis Obispo, and pitchers are at a premium for the Blues. Team trainer going to have to use his arms sparingly as they are rather low on them entering this game. As that ball got past Parker Goff, 1 ball and 1 strike. Jack Sand, who pitched yesterday for the Blues, allowing 3 walks in that fateful 9-run 7th inning for Walnut Creek, most likely will make an appearance at some point in this game once Dean goes to the bullpen, as Cam Calvillo takes a look at strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Calvillo. He was 2-for-4 last night, a hit by pitch, a run batted in. He scored a run himself. Don't be surprised if we see some position players as well. As he checks his swing, they appeal over to first. Did he go? No. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Calvillo, the infielder batting second. Played last season with the Bulldogs at Gonzaga. And I use play lightly. He redshirted that year and has since entered the transfer portal. 2-2 from Harper. Off speed, checks his swing again. This time he certainly held up. Count now full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Payoff pitch from Thomas Harper. This one's hit hard into left field. Coming in on it is Hoyer, and he won't get there. Base hit for the Crawdads. There goes the no-hitter from Thomas Harper. As rounding first is Cam Calvillo. So now Crawdads are in business here with Cole Kosciuszko, the team's arguably best hitter in the lineup. He's batting third. One of the 3 left-handers today for Walnut Creek. He had 2 home runs yesterday. He was 2-for-5, also walked. The rising junior going to UCSB as that ball squirts out of the glove of Goff. And going into second base with ease is Cam Calvillo. Runner in scoring position now for the Dads. 1 gone here after the Casey Cummings line out to center field. Calvillo responded with a base knock into left, falling in front of Bryson Hoyer. Now it's Kosciuszko with his hands tucked right over his left armpit as Harper double takes at second base. Now comes home. This one's hit hard right to the shortstop. Constantine takes a few shuffles, throw over to first in time to retire the 3-hole hitter. So now 2 gone here as Calvillo advanced to third base on that ground ball to the St. Bonaventure shortstop. And now it's Isaiah Walker, third baseman formerly from UTSA, now entering the transfer portal. 2 gone and a runner at third base. As Walker was 2 for 5 yesterday, batted in 3 runs, stole a bag, and was also hit by a pitch. Goes the opposite way, but it's leaking foul. No balls and 1 strike to the former Roadrunner. Walker enters the transfer portal after spending his first 3 seasons of college baseball in San Antonio. Now fast forward to this summer, entering this game 14 of 57 as he takes a look at strike 1. Entered the transfer portal not too long ago, just 5 days ago for Isaiah Walker, the rising senior from Manville, Texas. Now no balls and 2 strikes to him. Moves out of the way from that fastball, now 1-2 to Walker. 2 gone here after the Casey Cummings line out to center and the Cole Kosciuszko grounder to short. Runner on third, and it's Cam Calvillo. Sending this one straight back. 1 ball and 2 strikes again to Isaiah Walker, the cleanup man for Walnut Creek. Tight hands next to his ear as Thomas Harper comes set. This one's chopped in front of home plate and rolls down the third baseline foul. Do it again at 1 balls and 2 strikes. Walker doing a great job battling in this at-bat, spoiling away pitches he doesn't like from Harper. He's only seen 1 ball in this AB. He's fought everything else off. This one served into right field, and Jariah Lewis can't get there. RBI single from Isaiah Walker. It's 2-1 San Luis Obispo. So Walker gets the 1-out base runner and Cam Calvillo in to score off a single of his own. And the Crawdads are on the board. And as we learned from yesterday, the Dads can bang. They can certainly hit the ball around the yard, and today will be no exception. As they're back at Monte Vista. Bit of a bandbox, if you will. A little short in the corners, 325 to each corner. No number out there behind E.J. Royal. I would estimate about 390 out there in center. That's a throw over to first to get Isaiah Walker's not in time. Aiden Camberg still waiting for the first offering from the Illinois State Redbird. Left-hander batting fifth, was 2 for 5 last night. He walked, scored a run, and stole a bag as this one's hit on the ground. Right side, Jeffries moves to his left. Nice throw on the run, and the side is retired. So the Crawdads strand a runner, but they get 1 off 2 hits. It's 2-1 San Luis Obispo. We head to the top of the second inning. I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blues streaming network. This second inning is brought to you by Apex Technical Sales. You can find them at glenair-apex.com. Apex Technical Sales, we're here to make you successful. 6-7-8 here for the Blues as the Crawdads had a response for San Luis Obispo in the bottom half of the first inning. An RBI single to cut the lead in half, if you will, off the bat of Isaiah Walker as Bryson Hoyer leads things off for the Blues. He takes a look at strike 1 from Zach Royce, heading back out there for his second inning of work. Looks at the bounce pass in front of home plate. 1 ball and 1 strike to the switch hitter, batting 7th. From Saddleback Community College and a Paso Robles native. Missing outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Hoyer rocking the fluorescent yellow foot guard. He usually has the yellow batting gloves and oven mitt, but he has since ditched those as he chops this one into the ground, 2 balls and 2 strikes. So he's keeping the mustard cleats, and it actually looks like the straps on his leg guard are yellow. The whole thing used to be yellow. Now it's the black padding, and now he's got the yellow straps, slowly ditching the color as we inch closer to the end of the season. Fouled straight back, 2 balls and 2 strikes. That hit off the solid pole, and it ricocheted right between the legs of Owen Firestone. So we'll do it again at 2-2 from Bryson Hoyer, who this season has 5 hits in his 23 at-bats. That's good for a .217 average. Driven in 6 runs. He had a homer yesterday, his first of the year. Swing and a miss, and Bryson Hoyer goes down swinging. There's the first K and the first out of the inning. That's the 4th K of the day from Zach Royce. We just entered the 2nd, and there's one down here. So Zach Tollerman now, the 8-hole hitter for San Luis Obispo, playing first base today. Digs in now with 1 gone after Hoyer struck out swinging. Tollerman is 11 for 24 this season, and he takes a look at strike 1. Average up to .458. He's been hot ever since joining the Blues, entering league play. He's driven in 5 runs. Still looking for his first extra base hit as he checks a swing on that ball in the dirt. Didn't go around. 1 ball and 1 strike. And some exciting news for Zach Tollerman. This very morning, he announced on social media his commitment to San Jose State University. He will be playing with the Spartans next year and join his now teammate Jariah Lewis down there in the South Bay. So congratulations to Zach Tollerman as he swings and misses for strike 2. Now down 1 ball and 2 strikes in the count. Long hold from Royce from the stretch. Now Tollerman taps this one on the left side. Calvillo gets it on the big hop throw over to first. Nice stretch from Kosciuszko in time to retire the 6'4" first baseman. Now going to San Jose State next season. 2 gone here in the inning. So a ground ball to shortstop in Calvillo. And Zach Royce making easy work for the Blues in this inning so far. Can't say anything too quick, matter of fact, because the top half of the first started with back-to-back strikeouts. Then the Blues rattled off 3 hits and drove in 2 runs to get things going. And Cam Constantine, the 9-hole hitter, swings and misses at strike 1 with 2 gone. Shortstop back in tonight's lineup after a few games off. He chokes up on his bat and watches that one skip in front of home plate. 1 ball and 1 strike to the St. Bonaventure Bonnie. Making a long trip from McKinney, Texas, where he grew up. He's entering his sophomore season with the Bonnies. Last year, he started in 4 games. He played in 20 of them, had 19 at-bats, 2 hits in that time. He holds up his swing for ball 2, 2 balls and 1 strike. Gavin Constantine is a junior and is the brother of Cam Constantine, who played for the Blues last season. Gavin hits this one hard down the right field line. It's going to fall for a base hit. Another 2-out knock for San Luis Obispo as he tries to stretch this one into a double. The slide is in time. 2 innings in a row where Crawdads pitching got back-to-back outs and then allowed a double right after. Bit of a stretch of a statistic there, but interesting to point out nonetheless, as the Blues keep it alive here in the 2nd inning. Off the swing from Constantine, runner in scoring position for the Blues. That was Gavin's 2nd double of the season, also his 2nd extra base hit. And speaking of extra base hits, here's a guy that knows a thing or two about them. E.J. Royal stepping in for the 2nd time today. He struck out swinging back in the 1st inning. But he's got 8 extra base hits on the season for the Blues, tied for first with Brendan Comerford. As he watches the rock skipper, good block from Firestone to keep it in front. 2 balls and no strikes to the Utah Tech Trailblazer, who hit his first home run yesterday. At this very ballpark, he went dead center here at Monte Vista High School. And E.J. Royal is a guy who has found his swing just when you thought he had already done that this season. He's been an absolute hit collector for the Blues. It's been a lot of soft contact, filleting balls down the line, as there's the third pitch taken for a ball to Royal. But now he's learned to hit the ball a lot harder and a lot more in the air, and it's given him lots of success as that fastball is taken upper half of the zone for strike one. Currently slugging .620 this season, and you wouldn't think it based on the soft contact that he's had throughout the year. Starting to flip the script now with the way he's been barreling balls, especially at this ballpark. So it's 3 balls and 1 strike to Royal. As Royce checks second base, now comes home. This one's pounded into the ground. Calvillo's got it on the big hop throw to first in time to get EJ, and the side is retired. The Blues strand a runner, but they get a base hit from Gavin Constantine. It's still 2-1 San Luis Obispo. We'll head to the bottom half of the inning. I am Nate Mills on the SLO Blues streaming network. Six, 7, 8 here for the Walnut Creek Crawdads after the Blues were threatening with a runner in scoring position. Gavin Constantine had a 2-out double, but he was eventually stranded at second base after E.J. Royal grounded out to short. So now it's Ben Royo leading things off for Walnut Creek, facing Thomas Harper on his 21st pitch of the day. Fastball missing downstairs, 1 ball and no strikes to Royo. Royo, the lanky right-hander, standing up tall in the right-handed batter's box, gets ready and pops this one up. Tallman moves to his left. Parker trying to find it after he takes off his mask, and that will go out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. Royo was a stud for the Rice Owls these past 2 seasons. Out in Houston, Texas, a Corpus Christi native himself. He's entering his junior season in the transfer portal. Currently tied for second on the team with runs batted in and hits with the Dads. But he was Conference USA All-Freshman team his first year with Rice. As that ball pops out of the mitt of Parker Goff, 2 balls and 1 strike. Thomas Harper missed downstairs on the changeup. But Royo was not only the Conference USA All-Freshman team member back in 2023, he led the team in home runs with 13. As he hits this hard up the middle off the diving attempt from Constantine, and a leadoff single for the Dads. Third base hit of the day. We've just entered the second inning. And I mentioned it earlier, the Dads can bang, and Ben Royal certainly can, as his 13 home runs that led the team his freshman season was also the 3rd most by a freshman in Rice history. So now it's Jackson Bird, left-handed batter, batting 7th with his fluorescent red batting gloves. Got some white knuckles on him as well, as that ball misses downstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. To Bird, the utility player, you can really stick him anywhere. He can pitch, he can play infield, he can play outfield. He plays left field today for Walnut Creek, and he enters this game 6 of 33 with the Dads. Fastball missing outside from Harper, 2 balls and no strikes. 182 average. He's got 13 Ks to 4 walks. And now would be a good time to get a strikeout here from Thomas Harper, runner on first base, and Ben Royo after a leadoff single. Big secondary. This one's gone the opposite way. Hoyer moving to his right. He makes the grab on the run, retreating back towards first after being halfway on the base path is Ben Royo for the first out of the inning. Crawdads love to hit it into that left field. Bryson Hoyer got a lot of work yesterday catching fly balls in that spot. Even the lefties like going there, poking it the opposite way. And the righties, pretty easy to get pull happy in this ballpark. That's 325 down the lines. Chasing at the fastball, up at his eyes is Nico Azpilcueta for strike one. Designated hitter, batting 8th for Walnut Creek. Was previously at St. Mary's College with the Gales, and now is at Ohlone with the Renegades. Looks at that fastball down the middle of the plate, no balls and 2 strikes. Entering his redshirt junior season, as last year with Ohlone, he was first team All-State and was voted first team All-American by ABCA and the Rawlings Pacific Association. Throw to first, B move, not in time to get Ben Royo. Grew up in Sherman Oaks, California. Now here in NorCal, he had 12 home runs, 10 doubles last season at Ohlone. Same amount as home runs as Brendan Comerford. The Blue doing the designated hitting today. As another pick to first, not in time. That's the tying run over at first base. Azpilcueta is the go-ahead as he swings at a fastball up at his head again. But he makes contact with it. No balls and 2 strikes, fouling it over the Walnut Creek dugout. Four doubles on the season for Azpilcueta, 7 runs batted in. Changeup just missing downstairs. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Thomas Harper. He redshirted his first season as a Gale, and he pitched in 1 1/3. 1 at bat, and he struck out. Swing and a miss, and he strikes out here. Second out of the inning. It's a K from Thomas Harper. That's his first of the afternoon. Climbing the ladder was the Redbird, and he got Azpilcueta to chase after it. And the signs were telling early on in that at-bat. When you go first pitch fastball up at the nose of the hitter and he chases it, in a count where you don't have to swing at that. Snapback throw to first, not in time to get Ben Royo. Good idea, though, from the catcher and Parker Goff. Makes the decision easy to go back upstairs again and chase it for strike 3. And Harper executed it perfectly as he comes set in the stretch to Owen Firestone, who is down, no balls and 1 strike. So Harper is picked over to first base about 5 or 6 times at this point. Firestone looks at the fastball downstairs. Good block from Goff. 1 ball and 1 strike to the former Cal Poly Mustang who has entered the transfer portal. He spent 2 seasons in San Luis Obispo. And Cal Poly just a few miles up the road from Sinsheimer. And he holds up his swing on that fastball in at his hands. 2 balls and 1 strike. Redshirted his true freshman season, and in his sophomore year, last year's redshirt freshman year, he played in 5 games. He had 2 starts. He was 1 of 10. He stole a bag. Another pick over to first to Royo. C move from Thomas Harper. Still 2 balls and 1 strike to the 9-hole hitter, Owen Firestone. Umpire gives the strike 3 call, and that was strike 2 to Firestone, who has yet to lift the bat off his shoulders. Home plate umpire getting trigger happy here with 2 gone, 2 outs, and a runner on first base. SLO Blues lead the Crawdads 2-1 in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Firestone hits this one in the air on the right side. Lewis tracking it, and he grabs it with 2 hands for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Crawdads get a hit, but they strand a runner on first base. No errors and no runs for Walnut Creek. We head to the top of the 3rd inning. 2-1 Blues on the SLO Blues streaming network. Third inning is brought to you by Plan Perfect. Be sure to contact Sherry Tollerman at 949-223-8397. That's 949-223-8397. Sherry Tollerman, or you can find her at planperfectretirement.com. Plan Perfect, corporate retirement plan specialists. Fouling it straight back is Braden Jeffries, who leads things off here in the third inning. Last time he was up, he was one of the 3 strikeout victims in the first frame from Zach Royce, who heads out there for his third inning of work. 1-1 is swung on and missed. Outside, he went with the changeup to the left-handed batter Jeffries. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Still a 2-1 lead for San Luis Obispo. Thomas Harper doing a nice job through his first 2 innings of work. They're going to need a little more from him as that fastball misses outside. Count now even at 2-2. And pitching, one of the things that the Blues seem to be invincible at, has seen the wheels fall off within the past 3 games. Prior to this 3-game losing streak for the Blues, which has since knocked them into 3rd place in the CCL, they led the league in whip and earned run average. Been a shell of themselves within the past week as Jeffries fouls that one straight back. And again, the full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. 2-hole hitter committed to the University of Michigan for next season. Just graduated from Hart High School, born and raised in Valencia, California. As he chops this one down the first base line, staying alive at 3 balls and 2 strikes. He currently leads the CCL in on-base percentage at .617, as well as average with a .500 batting average. This is in 20 league at-bats, though. There's a 3-2 walk to Jeffries and a leadoff base runner for the Blues. First time they haven't led off the inning with a strikeout. I know it's early on. Just something to note. As Jariah Lewis steps up now. He recorded the first base hit of the day for San Luis Obispo, a double back in the first inning. Eventually stole third and came around to score easy from the hard hit single from Casey Borba. That was the first run of this game. He's down quickly, 0-1 in the count to Zach Royce. Lewis heading into this game and 5 runs batted in off 8 hits in 45 at-bats. He swings and misses here for strike 2. Jariah's family in attendance at Monte Vista High School after growing up in Alameda, California, not too far from here. And he goes the opposite way, but there to grab it is Bird for the second out of the inning. Easy play for Jackson Bird out there in left field. And there's actually 1 gone here in the third. Braden Jeffries still at first base, and now it's Casey Borba, third baseman, batting cleanup, and an RBI single. As I mentioned, that brought across Jariah Lewis. Just a rocket off the bat from the Texas shortstop. Hit hard directly up the middle of the field. Borba looks at the fastball, outer half of the zone, no balls and 1 strike. In high school at Orange Lutheran, he was voted the best third baseman in Southern California section for high school players. Bouncing ball in front of home plate, 1 ball and 1 strike. A big secondary over there at first base from Braden Jeffries. Jeffries still looking for his first stolen base of the year as he gets a pretty large lead over there at first base. Casey Borba hitches in the right-handed batter's box. And he looks at that fastball, or taken for a strike. Once again, I talked about it back in the second inning. Home plate umpire favoring the outer half of the zone to both the left and right-handed hitters in this ballgame so far. Batters from both sides going to have to adjust to today's strike zone. Taking off for second is Jeffries. Ball low in the dirt. Here's the feet first slide. He pops up safely. Ball rolls into center field. But Jeffries will stay at second base with his first stolen bag of the season. Pretty solid jump there from Jeffries. He was able to get in the second with ease as that throw from Zach Royce skipped in the dirt, bought Jeffries some time, and the throw went wide left. Firestone tried to rush it down to Calvillo, went to center field. A stolen bag nonetheless, and a runner in scoring position for the Blues. As another hard hit ball from Borba is grounded right in front of Jeffries. The throw over to first is in time, and Jeffries takes off for third. Some heads-up base running as Jeffries caught a good jump right after Calvillo tossed it over to Kosciuszko to retire Borba. And a productive out now. As another run 90 feet away for Parker Goff. 2 gone, a runner at third base. And the Harriman, Utah native steps up for the second time today. He had an RBI double in the first inning. That brought home Casey Borba to make it a 2-0 ball game. Dads since have gotten a run. It's 2-1. San Luis Obispo still has the lead, as taking strike one is Goff. Goff batting .333 for the Blues. He has 8 hits in his 24 at-bats. As the 0-1 is taken down the middle for strike 2. He's a part of that catching rotation that Dean Traynor has instilled in this Blues roster. A rotation of Nico Button, Parker Goff, and Owen Estabrook. And if one of them isn't catching, another one is typically DHing. That's not the case today, as Comerford will be today's DH. That one skips in front of home plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Goff. But Goff all around has been catcher number 1 for San Luis Obispo. Been impressive back there behind the plate, stopping balls from rolling all the way to the backstop and getting it done with the stick as well. This one's fouled straight back. He just missed it. 1 ball and 2 strikes again to Parker Goff. He wanted all of that fastball from Zach Royce. Huge hack, frontside fly. The eyes pulled as well. And the barrel just skidded the baseball in the bottom half. Do it again at 1 ball and 2 strikes. From the stretch, here's Royce, and that one misses downstairs again. Now 2-2 to Parker Goff. Goff was the 3rd-ranked catcher out of the state of Utah coming out of high school. In his past season with the Cougars at BYU, he batted .293 with a .403 on base and a .515 slugging, all in 99 at-bats as he chops this one right behind home plate, staying alive with 2 strikes. Do 2-2 again. 1 less at bat than the season he had freshman year. Had an even 100. More hits as well, 22 compared to his 17. Two, taken for strike 3. Parker Goff goes down looking and strands a runner at third base. The side is retired. That's Goff's 5th strikeout of the season. It's still 2-1 heading to the bottom half of the 3rd inning. I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blues streaming network. 1-2-3 for the Walnut Creek Crawdads. It's still a 2-1 ball game. Blues lead the Dads. 4 hits to Walnut Creek's 3. And it's Casey Cummings, the leadoff man, who takes a look at ball 1 from Thomas Harper, heading out there for his 3rd inning of work. Last time Cummings was up and lined out to center field, E.J. Royal had to take a couple steps to his right. Easy play for the Utah Tech Trailblazers. That one's fouled up and out of play for strike 1. Cummings, a Texas Longhorn, spent his first season out in Austin last year, started in 1 game, played in 6. As he looks at that fastball upstairs, 2 balls and 1 strike. Had 9 ABs, got 1 hit in that time. Was also hit by a pitch. Breaking ball just missing inside, 3 balls and 1 strike. And if Thomas Harper wants to get that call, I would recommend that he tries clipping that outside corner. I know his specialty is going in on the kitchen of the hitters, but the way the zone has expanded today, might be a good idea to hit the outer edge. He misses downstairs, though, and there's a leadoff walk for Casey Cummings. So Casey gets things going here in the 3rd inning. And now it's Cam Calvillo, the shortstop, who singled back in the 1st inning and came around to score from the Isaiah Walker RBI single. Calvillo's first pitch swinging and crushes this one to center field. E.J. Royal moving back, makes the hop and the grab for the first out of the inning. Retreating back forward towards first is Casey Cummings. 1 gone here after the loud crack of the bat from Cam Calvillo. Speaking of loud contact, Cole Kosciuszko, the 3-hole hitter, digging in now with an out in this inning. He was 2 for 5 yesterday, and both of his hits were home runs. He also walked in yesterday's contest as well. He takes a look at strike 1. I think it's funny to put this in perspective. Jariah Lewis led the Blues last season in home runs in 44 games for the entirety of summer 2023. Kosciuszko matched that total in 1 game. As taken off for second base is Cummings, and the throw is in time. Just really not a great jump from Casey Cummings, and he decided to go anyway. It was a better throw from Parker Goff, just nailed him over there, and a good tag from Constantine as well. Tandem effort. That's the 2nd out of the inning. A caught stealing from Cummings. Skipping in the dirt. Taken for a ball to Kosciuszko. 2 balls and 1 strike to the UC Santa Barbara commit. That's the first time Casey Cummings was caught stealing this summer, by the way. This one's crushed out to right field. Going back is Jariah Lewis. He's at the wall, and he can only watch it land into the softball field. A nuke from Cole Kosciuszko, his 3rd home run this series against the Blues. That's 3 in 2 games. Kosciuszko knew it right off the bat. He dropped his lumber right outside the batter's box, took a few soft steps towards first, and had fun trotting the bases to tie this score up 2 apiece. Walker, who had a base hit last time he was up, an RBI single brought in the first run of the game for Walnut Creek. It was Cam Calvillo. And now he steps in here after the home run from Cole Kosciuszko. What a sweet left-handed swing from the first baseman, a former Vaquero from SBCC. So after allowing the home run, 2 balls and no strikes to Walker. 2 for 5 last night, 3 runs batted in, stole a bag, and was also hit by a pitch. Chops this one right behind home plate. There's the first strike of the AB. 2-1 to Walker, the former Roadrunner from UTSA, University of Texas San Antonio. Entered the portal just 5 days ago, announced on social media. Fastball missing up and away. Now 3 balls and 1 strike to Walker. Another hitter's count for the Crawdads. Native of Manville, Texas. Hit .298 last season for the Roadrunners with a .409 on-base percentage. And he looks at that fastball downstairs for ball 4. Another base runner here for Walnut Creek. And the second walk of the inning from Thomas Harper. And last time a batter walked, he was gunned down at second from Casey Cummings. And that play that Parker Goff made from behind the dish to throw him out on the caught stealing weighs a little bit more, because if he were on base and Kosciuszko hit that home run, Walnut Creek would have the lead. But instead it's tied on 2 on the solo shot from Kosciuszko. So now it's Aiden Camberg. He grounded out to second base last time he was up. That ended the first inning. Now the left-hander steps in to face the right-handed Thomas Harper as he uses his B move at first base to try and get Walker. Won't be in time. Camberg, a UC Santa Barbara Gaucho who did not play his first season down in Isla Vista last year. And they're waiting for his first offering from Harper after picking over to second base twice. Native of Scottsdale, Arizona, entering his sophomore season with the Chos. Fastball taken for strike 1. First pitch that Aiden Camberg sees. 2 of 5 yesterday. A walk, a run, and a stolen base. Harper comes set at his chest, delivers a fastball in the outside corner for strike 2. 0-2, and Harper's a pitch away from getting out of this inning. Taken off towards second and put in play on the ground left side to Constantine. Backhand on the big hop. One hop over to Tallman at first. He digs it out for the third out of the inning. So the Crawdads strand a runner on second base, but they do get one off the solo shot from Cole Kosciuszko into right field. Ball game now tied at 2 apiece. Stay with us. I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blues streaming network. Third inning is brought to you by Richardson. They're the official cap of the CCL. Both teams in today's contest are wearing Richardson branded hats and will be doing so for the remainder of the season. Richardson, the official cap of the CCL. So it's a tied ball game now off the bat of Cole Kosciuszko, who hit a no-doubt home run to right field. Jariah Lewis just watched it fly into the softball field at Monte Vista High School. An absolute nuke. It's a different ball game now, essentially tied at 0. And a new pitcher in for Walnut Creek, Nick Bronzini. He faces Brendan Comerford, Bryson Hoyer, and Zach Tullerman here in the 4th inning, as Comerford is at 1 ball and 1 strike. San Ramon native, grew up just down the street from Monte Vista High School, as Comerford pops this one up and out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So after growing up in San Ramon, he now is a Tiger at Louisiana State University. He redshirted his true freshman season back in 2023. He was named to SEC first-year academic honor roll as a business major. He was ranked the number 2 left-handed pitcher in California by perfect game, as that fastball misses up and away, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Was also nationally ranked as the 19th overall left-handed pitcher by perfect game. Posted a 9-2 record, 133 strikeouts his senior year. And Comerford taking all the way, and that fastball way above the zone. Count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. So last season with LSU, he played in 6 games for the Tigers. A 5.79 ERA and 4 2/3 innings pitch. Comerford goes after the fastball up at his head, staying alive at 3 balls and 2 strikes. 8 strikeouts to his 4 walks in those 4 2/3 innings pitch. 5 hits in that time as well. Another payoff offering to Brendan Comerford. And he bounces this one slowly on the ground left side. Walker has to make the throw on the run. Nice scoop from first base by Kosciuszko. And there's the first out of the inning. Brendan Comerford grounds out to Walker at third base. And an even better play from Kosciuszko to pull that one out of the dirt for out number 1. So now it's Bryson Hoyer, the switch-hitting left fielder, batting right-handed against the left-handed throwing Bronzini. Steps in now with 1 out here in the inning. So fast forward to this season, Bronzini has pitched in 2 games, 4 innings pitched. He has 1 start. Very short lease for the LSU Tiger as he delivers ball 1 to Hoyer. 7 strikeouts in his 4 innings pitched, 2 walks, 5 hits, a 2.25 ERA for the Dads. There's a fastball missing outside, 2 balls and no strikes to Bryson Hoyer, who struck out swinging last time he was up against Zach Royce. Hoyer on the 2-0, softly hits this one down the third base line and foul. Thick grass out there and foul ground stops it way in front of Rene Regalado as he rolls it back to the on-deck circle. 2 balls and 1 strike. 1 gone here in the 4th inning. Brendan Comerford softly hit a ground ball to third base, and Walker made a nice throw on the run. Fastball clipping the inside corner, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hoyer had the dodge out of the way of that one. Bronzini gets the call to even the count at 2-2. Deep sigh, and the left-hander comes home. He yanks the fastball downstairs. Another full count for the Blues, 3 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 ball game here in the 4th inning. And Bryson Hoyer in a 3-2 count with 1 gone against the relief pitcher, Nick Bronzini. Off speed, and that's taken for ball 4. There's a 1-out base runner for the Blues, and Bryson Hoyer is awarded with the walk. That's Hoyer's 5th walk of the season, and it comes here in the 4th inning. So now it's Zach Tullerman, the brand new San Jose Spartan as of this morning. And we all had continental breakfast in the hotel and mingling with all the players. Tollerman wasn't there. Later, went back to my room and checked social media, and it became evidently clear to me as to why he was not with us at Continental Breakfast, most likely on the phone with the coaches at San Jose State, sealing the deal for the Spartans. Hoyer fake broke at first base. Now he inches off the bag as this one's popped up into center field. He retreats back to first for the second out of the inning after Tollerman pops out to Cummings. 2 gone here with a runner on first base, and it's Gavin Constantine who smoked a double the opposite way back in the second inning. He was eventually stranded on second. Constantine, the young buck from McKinney, Texas, plays for the St. Bonaventure Bonnies. As Hoyer got a real good jump, taken off for second base, head first slide, and a nice backhanded stop from Royo at second base keeps that ball in the infield. A stolen base for Bryson Hoyer. That's Hoyer's second stolen bag of the season, and now a runner in scoring position for the Blues. Go-ahead run is named Hoyer. He's standing at second base with his lightning bolt colored cleats. There's the 1-0 from Constantine, taking all the way up at that fastball. 2 balls and no strikes. Constantine this season has 6 runs batted in off his 7 hits in 22 at-bats. Not only has he been getting it done at the dish, he has been pleasant to watch over there at shortstop, making some pretty athletic plays. Swing and a miss, and it pops out of the glove of Firestone for strike number 1. And with the way that the Blues have been committing errors this season, makes sense that Constantine has seen an uptick in playing time, not only because of his bat, but because of his leather out there at shortstop. Bronzini with 1 look at second now comes home, and Constantine goes the other way again, but can't straighten it out to keep it in fair territory. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Gavin, 7 hits. 2 of them are doubles. Those are the only extra base hits he has this season. And 6 walks to his 7 strikeouts, as he's really choked up on the bat now. In the 2-2 count. Hits this one hard to left field. Moving to his right is Bird, who is playing in the left center gap, and that's going to be foul. So Constantine has to trot back to the batter's box in what appears to be, we have a tough angle over here, as you could probably tell from the stream. It appeared to be a foul ball home run. If it was fair, it was gone. Would have been his 3rd extra base hit of the season, but instead he steps back in at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Swings and misses. Climbing the ladder is Bronzini for strike number 3. So the Blues strand a runner at second base in Bryson Hoyer. They get no hits, no runs, and no errors. Still tied at 2, heading to the bottom half of the 4th inning. I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blues streaming network. New pitcher in for San Luis Obispo as Thomas Harper's day is done. He went 3 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout. The Illinois State Redbirds' day is done. Would have liked to see a little more length from him, but you can't help think he was limited to a pitch count as Ericus Pajunius steps in now to replace Thomas Harper. Leading things off this inning, it's Ben Royo, then it's Jackson Bird, then Nico Azpilcueta. Ben Royo, last time he was up, collected the 3rd base hit of the day for Walnut Creek, a single to lead things off in the 2nd inning. Blues don't get any runs in the top of the 4th as Royo takes a look at ball 1 from Pajunius, 2 balls and 1 strike. Ericus this season, a 13.5 ERA in 2 games. And last time he pitched, it was against the San Francisco Seagulls, just pitched in 1 inning of relief there. As ducking out of that fastball is Ben Royo, 3 balls and 1 strike. In that 1 inning pitch from Pajunius against the Seagulls, he faced 4 batters, walked 1 of them, no strikeouts. And those 2 innings of work, actually, from Pajunius, he's allowed 1 hit and 3 earned runs. And that's taken for strike 2. Count now full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Not the production you would hope from Ericus for the Blues, but honestly, San Luis Obispo just needs a body out there to throw balls and strikes. From the windup, here's the payoff pitch. That misses downstairs for ball 4. A leadoff base runner for the Walnut Creek Crawdads, and it comes in the form of Ben Royo. So after walking the leadoff man, it's Jackson Bird, the left fielder, batting left-handed, facing Pajunius for the first time today. Left fielder, Jackson Bird. Bird, last time he was up, a hard hit out over into left field. Hoyer made a nice running grab to secure it for the first out of the inning as he spoils that one in front of the Blues dugout. No balls and 1 strike. No outs here and a runner on first base. Game still tied at 2. Bottom of the 4th at Monte Vista High School. Ericus Pajunius just entered the game for the Blues. Slide step coming home, and the fastball's in there for strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes to Jackson Bird with Ben Royo over at first base. Royo this season has 2 stolen bags. Hasn't been caught stealing yet. The utility man from Sacramento State. Rests his bat on the shoulders and now swings and pops this one up. Moving to his right is Casey Borba. He's at the wall and it's out of play. Do it again at no balls and 2 strikes. Bird this season is 6 for 33, good for a 182 batting average. He has 3 extra base hits, 1 double, 1 triple, and 1 home run. All coming together for 3 runs batted in. He's also a pitcher as well. Here's Pajunius on the 0-2. A few nods. Now comes home. This one's hit hard on the right side on the ground. Jeffries throw over to second for 1, on to first for 2, and they got him. 4-6-3 double play. Jeffries, Constantine to Tollerman, and there's now 2 outs in this inning. And that's exactly the result Pajunius wanted. With the Crawdads, the offense that they have, if you threaten with a base runner in any part of the base path, they could bring that guy home with ease at any moment. It was really nice to get that double play and to lessen the pitch count, really, for Pajunius, as taking strike 1 is Nico Azpilcueta, the DH, batting 8th. Last time he was up, he swung and missed for strike 3 in the 2nd inning. Pajunius on the nice slider just misses downstairs. 1 ball and 1 strike to Azpilcueta. Nico, an Ohlone College Renegade, spent his first season at St. Mary's, where he eventually redshirted after having 1 at-bat where he struck out with the Gales. Diving stop from Parker Goff. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Game tied at 2. 2 gone here in the bottom of the 4th inning. 4 hits apiece for the Blues and the Dads. And Pajunius Comes with the fastball and hits the outer edge. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pajunas been living up in the zone, and as we saw last at bat to Azpilicueta, he likes that area as well, but he's held up his swing on both offerings in that part of the strike zone. 2-2, skipping in the dirt, thought about it, but held up. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Azpilicueta, 31 Ks to 21 walks this past season with the Renegades. 11 to his 7 so far this summer with the Dads. Payoff pitch. Breaking ball in there for strike 3. Ericus Pajunas gets his first K of the day, and he buckles up Azpilicueta on the slider. Still 4-4 heading into the 5th inning. I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blues streaming network. Top of the 5th, and I'd like to remind you that this inning is brought to you by Studio Design Group Architects. You can find them at sdgarchitects.com. Studio Design Group Architects. For 40 years, we've designed buildings with one thing in mind: people. The leadoff man and E.J. Royal stepping up here in the 5th inning. He'll face Nico Bronzini. Came in to replace Zach Royce last inning in the 4th. And Royal takes a look at strike 2. Back-to-back fastballs from the left-hander from LSU. And Royal has just been cartoonish so far this season with the Blues. He has 28 hits, that leads the team. 424 batting average also leads the team. And he swings and misses for strike 3. That's only the 9th K of the season for E.J. Royal. There's the first out of the inning. That's his 2nd K of the day. Uncharacteristic afternoon for E.J. He always at least puts the ball in play. Not a lot of times you see him walking back to the dugout via the strikeout. But now there's one gone for Braden Jeffries, who singled back in the 3rd inning. He stole his first bag of the season and was stranded at 3rd base after advancing on a grounder to short from Casey Borba. 1-0 to the Michigan commit, as Bronzini clips the lower edge for strike 1. 2-2 ball game. It's been tied ever since the 3rd inning when Cole Kosciuszko tied this one up on a solo home run to right field, an absolute bomb from the Santa Barbara commit. Jeffries goes the other way, and it's falling fast down the left field line. Bird can't get there, but it doesn't matter because it's foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Braden Jeffries, the second baseman, batting left-handed. On deck, it's Jariah Lewis, another lefty, and in the hole, it's Casey Borba. 1 out here to Jeffries, who entering this game was 12 of 24. That batting average leads the CCL in hitters with at least 20 at-bats. 1-2, missing downstairs to Jeffries, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And he came onto the scene in the Blues midweek series against the Academy Barons. Made his debut with San Luis Obispo and hit an absolute shot down the right field line. 380 feet, home run for the Blues. As he fouls this one, he's late on the fastball, 2 balls and 2 strikes again. So more on Nick Bronzini is a redshirt freshman, 6'3", 256 pounds, supplying all the heat on that fastball as he gets Jeffries to chase at it for the second out of the inning. Back-to-back Ks for Bronzini. That's his third of the afternoon. And there's 2 outs for Jariah Lewis. Today, Jariah doubled in the first, and he came around to score after stealing third base off a nice jump from the dirt ball read. And he flew out to left field back in third. Right fielder steps up with 2 outs, and he holds up his swing on that fastball in the dirt for ball 1. And that loss for the Blues yesterday was a costly one, as it's feeding a losing streak for San Luis Obispo. They've hit a bit of a skid, especially on the road here to Walnut Creek. And they dropped their 3rd game in a row last night in dramatic fashion. Dramatic's one way to put it. You could also say drastic, whatever synonym you'd like to use there. A 20-8 loss, a boat race for Walnut Creek. That dropped the Blues down to 3rd in the CCL North as Jariah Lewis went around for strike 1. 2 balls and 1 strike to Jariah. So the Crawdads now have sole possession of first place. The Menlo Park Legends are ahead. They're just a half game behind the Dads. And tied for 3rd with the Blues is the San Francisco Seagulls. Both of those teams are 2 games out of first. As Lewis takes the fastball, strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the 5th inning in a 2-2 ball game. Bronzini comes home and just misses inside, fills it up at 3 balls and 2 strikes. So after San Luis Obispo, it's the Sonoma Stompers, who are 3 games out, and the Alameda Merchants, who are 4.5. They're last place in the CCL North. Payoff pitch to Lewis is swung and foul tipped right into the mitt of the catcher in Firestone. And there's the 3rd out of the inning. All batters go down by way of the strikeout. Bronzini strikes out the side. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Still scored 2-2. I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blues streaming network. Welcome to the show. Bottom half of the 5th inning. Owen Firestone leading things off. Then he'll flip it over to the top of the lineup in Casey Cummings and Cam Calvillo. But for now, it's Firestone, the former Cal Poly Mustang, has since entered the transfer portal this summer after 2 seasons with the Stangs. Redshirted his freshman year, then finally got some playing time last year in the ever-competitive catching spot for Larry Lee's Mustangs. But now he steps up here against Ericus Pajunas. And quickly, he's up in the count. 2 balls and no strikes. Like I said, saw limited action with the Stangs, thus prompting him to enter the portal. Started in 2 games last season, though. Played in 5 games, had 10 at-bats, just 1 hit to show for it, as the fastball from Pajunas misses upstairs, 3 straight balls to Firestone. Firestone was a Crawdad last season. He's returning to Walnut Creek this summer, where he currently is 1 for 10, the same number of at-bats and hits as his entire Cal Poly career. As he takes strike 1 down the middle from Pajunas, 3 balls and 1 strike. Ericus, flashing the dark brown leather, comes home from the windup as that one misses outside. There's a 5-pitch walk to Firestone to get things going here in the 5th. Still a 2-2 ball game. The scoring came to a halt, as most of it came in the first 3 innings. The Blues only scored 2 runs in the first. They've been quiet ever since. Crawdads got 1 in the first, but then 1 in the third from a Cole Kosciuszko home run. We're now in the bottom of the 5th inning, and it's been whisper quiet ever since. But Casey Cummings is looking to change that right now, as he is 0 for 1 on the day. A line out to center and a walk in the third as he takes a look at strike 1. And we got walked in the 3rd inning. He was caught stealing over at second base, and what has turned into the difference of this ball game, Parker Goff gunning down Cummings at second, making that Kosciuszko home run a solo shot instead of a 2-run bomb for the Crawdads. And now 1 ball and 1 strike is the leadoff man, Cummings. The center fielder from Texas, who in 1 season at Chabot in 2023 was selected as first-team All-Star player and was tied for 3rd in the state with home runs at 17. He led Chabot in nearly every statistic category as he taps this one on the ground. Constantine on the second for 1. Throw to first. Tollerman stretches, and he can't get there in time to retire the runner in Cummings. So a fielder's choice for the Longhorn, and there's now 1 gone here in the 5th inning. Constantine had to play it on the hop, on his heels. Made the throw over to Jeffries at second and just couldn't get it to the speedy Cummings in time for the second out. So 1/2 of a double play. 1 gone here for Cam Calvillo, as he looks at the off speed from Pajunas for strike 1. Calvillo redshirted last season at Gonzaga with the Bulldogs, and he has now entered the transfer portal heading into fall 2024 as a redshirt junior from Castro Valley, California. A move over to first, not in time to get Casey Cummings. Currently 2nd in the California Collegiate League in walks at 14. Also leads the team. He's 2nd in the team in hits and runs. He has 53 hits and 154 at-bats as a Renegade Aloni, as Parker thought about snapping back over to first to get Cummings. But he holds up, and it's a 1-1 count to Calvillo. A shortstop batting second, who was 2 for 4 last night. He's 1 for 2 today. The single back in the first came around to score off the RBI from Isaiah Walker. And then he flew out to center field, E.J. Royal, whose heels were on the track. Fastball missing way upstairs. 2 balls and 1 strike now. I mentioned this on the broadcast yesterday. I feel like I have more space to say it here in the 2-1 count, but Calvillo hates sunflower seeds. This is verbatim from the Walnut Creek social media. Hates is just so strong. I can understand a slight dislike or a preference to not choose sunflower seeds as the throwback to first is not in time. But hate? Get this man some Spitz cracked pepper. Get him David's Ranch. Then come back to me. I just don't buy it. I think he just had a bad experience. And as a former ball player myself, that's just sacrilegious. Another fastball missing upstairs. This time Parker does go to first, and it's offline. 3 balls and 1 strike. And I don't know, maybe that's just the purist in me, but, you know, if I sat myself back down in the dugout after a golden sombrero, which was a frequent occurrence, I think those cracked pepper spits would just lighten up my afternoon. Now I get it. Once again, I get if you like prefer gum or something else to chew on. I even understand like the chewing tobacco. Now, that was never my thing, but I get it. You know what I mean? Seeds, hate in the same sentence? Unreal. And he steps in now in the 3-1 count. Has taken off for second as Cummings. Ball gets put in play into left field. It falls in front of Bryson Hoyer. There's a base knock for Calvillo, his second of the day, as advancing to third is Casey Cummings. Runners at the corner now for Cole Kosciuszko. Maybe if I didn't choose sunflower seeds in my playing days, I'd be on the field right now like Cam Calvillo is. Seems to be working for him. Blues with one out in the inning have runners at first and third. The go-ahead run just 90 feet away, and his name is Casey Cummings. A single from Cam Calvillo brought him there. As a meeting at the mound with Dean Trainer, bullpen is completely empty. Just wanted to talk over a game plan with his right-hander, Pajunas. As Kosciuszko is a guy who has proven to do lots of damage, not just in his 2 seasons with the Vaqueros at SBCC, but also this summer with the Walnut Creek Crawdads. He leads the team in at-bats, hits, doubles, home runs, triples, stolen bases, runs batted in, runs, and games played. He is the guy, and he's batting third here for Walnut Creek. One runner in scoring position with Cam Calvillo over at first base. And Calvillo this summer has stolen 2 bags. He's been caught stealing once. I'm curious to see what they do here now. That's what Dean Trainer was most likely prepping to Ericus Pajunas and the rest of the infield. As Kosciuszko takes a look at the fastball. Low. 1 ball and no strikes. He leads the CCL in league home runs and runs batted in, and he's tied in the CCL for league stolen bases. The redshirt sophomore from Castro Valley can do it all. As he looks at that fastball, strike 1. Last season with the Vaqueros, he batted .323. .54 hits and 167 at-bats. As the 1-1 misses upstairs, 2 balls and 1 strike. Bryson Hoyer paces in left field, outfield at regular depth. E.J. Royal playing a little deeper than everyone else out there in center in front of the big black tarp batter's eye. This one's hit hard down the first base line. The first base umpire has to matrix out of the way of that one. It was hooking right towards him, and it's foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pajunas would like to get a ground ball here. We got a runner on first base in Cam Calvillo. Be nice to flip a double play and prevent the Dads from taking the lead in this game. Middle infield playing at double play depth with his toes on the grass is Casey Borba. That's missing way outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Cole Kosciuszko. The hitter, you have to be very delicate pitching to. He will make you pay. 3 home runs in this 2-game set against the Blues. 1 today back in the 3rd inning. He tied this game up all by himself on the solo shot. Fastball missing upstairs, and there's a walk to Kosciuszko. That fills the bases here for the Crawdads as Isaiah Walker steps up for the 3rd time today. Kosciuszko has now reached base safely 2 times in his 3 at-bats, or plate appearances. As Isaiah Walker steps up now. That is checking his swing is Isaiah Walker. Did he go around? No, he did not. Bases full now in the 1-0 count with one gone here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Isaiah Walker, the former Roadrunner, has grounded into double plays more than anyone else in the CCL. Looks at that fastball in there for strike one. And Pajunas is looking for that exact result here with this bases loaded situation and one gone. 3 grounders into double play. That leads the team and, of course, the CCL in league play. Walker dribbles this one on the left side. Backhand from Constantine. He goes to third, and Borba didn't touch the bag. Everyone's safe, and the Crawdads take the lead. And I think Constantine elected to go that way to third. All of his momentum was moving him towards the bag, and he just wanted to make that easy play for Borba to tap third base, and he never got his footing around to it. So a run just came in to score, and that's how the Crawdads take advantage in this game. Fielder's choice to Isaiah Walker, as he's now at first base for Aiden Camberg, who looks at strike one. Still just one out here in the 5th inning. Ericus Pajunas trying to get out of the bases-loaded jam. Camberg standing in his way, who's looking for his first hit of the day after a 2-for-5 afternoon yesterday. A 1 missing upstairs, 1 ball and 1 strike to Camberg, the right fielder batting 5th. A gaucho who didn't play in Isla Vista last season after growing up in Scottsdale, Arizona. Entered this game 7 of 19, a .368 batting average. Hits this one high in the air down the right field line, but that's going to be hooking foul. Lewis is trying to catch it, but he won't be able to get there. And I thought Jariah Lewis had a chance to grab that ball. He must have lost it in the sky. He pulled up last second as the ball landed near the home plate area of the bullpen down in right field for Walnut Creek. He pulled up on it, and I think he thought he was going to go out of play, but the wind must have brought it back in as it's blowing directly in from center field. Here's a 1-2 to Camberg. Skips in front of the plate. Parker Goff loses it, flips it over to home at Pajunas, who was covering it. Good job on the awareness there, as scampering back towards third base was Cam Calvillo. The dugout chirps Calvillo at third base as they wanted him to take home on that. But Goff did a nice job keeping the ball in reasonable distance, and Pajunas did a better job hustling over to the plate to make the play. So now 2 balls and 2 strikes here to Aiden Camberg, who swings and pops this one up. Tollerman scaling the dugout. He moves to his left, and he makes the basket catch for the second out of the inning. Nice play from ZT, trying to feel his way in front of the home dugout, and he makes it with his palm facing towards the sky. 2 gone here in the 5th inning. So 2 outs for Ben Royo, who's 1 of 1 on the day. He's reached base safely in both of his plate appearances. A single back in the 2nd and a walk in the 4th, was stranded on first base both times. First pitch offering is taken for strike 1. Ben Royal, the stud from Rice University, was also all Silver Slugger Series team in 2023 when he was a true freshman. Swing and a miss on that sweeper from Pajunas for strike 2. Down 0-2 is the rising junior infielder who's tied for first in the CCL for league strikeouts at 18. He has 21 in the whole season, counting their non-conference games. As Pajunas comes set from the stretch, now kicks and deals. There's a slider that just misses outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pajunas and Goff really wanted that call, and I don't blame him. With an umpire who's been calling strikes in that part of the zone all day, a bit ironic that he didn't there. Pajunas comes set on the 1-2 against the strikeout leader in the CCL. Another slider. This one misses way outside, though. No doubt that's a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 out after the Walnut Creek Crawdads have taken the lead. And the fielder's choice from Isaiah Walker brought Casey Cummings home, a 3-2 ball game in the 5th. Standing up tall is Ben Royal as he awaits the 2-2, and he softly hits this one to Constantine at short. Throw over to first in time. Crawdads leave them loaded, but they do bring across 1 run to take the lead in this ball game. We head to the top of the 2nd, 3-2 Dads. I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blues streaming network. Sixth inning is brought to you by Studio Design Group Architects. You can find them at sdgarchitects.com. Studio Design Group Architects. For 40 years, they've designed buildings with one thing in mind: people. Middle of the order for the SLO Blues, Casey Borba, Parker Goff, and Brendan Comerford due up to face Nick Bronzini, the left-handed pitcher from Louisiana State University. As Casey Borba takes a look at strike 1. Crawdads took the lead back in the 5th. Just finished up that frame off Casey Cummings coming around to score from the Isaiah Walker fielder's choice. There's a soft grounder over to Gavin Constantine, who had to move to his right. It took all of his momentum to third base. Typically, that would have been an easy double play to get out of the inning, but he elected to go to third. I don't think Casey Borba was ready to get that ball, as he didn't tap third base as he was running towards it, and the run just came around to score, as Borba has to dodge that fastball for ball 3. Third baseman in a hitter's count. He has an RBI single in the first inning. He grounded out to short in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Entering this ball game, he had 3 hits and 10 at-bats, and he gets a walk here. That's the 2nd walk of the season for Casey Borba, and it comes in leadoff fashion. So Nick Bronzini's strikeout streak comes to an end. He struck out 4 batters in a row, including the 3 that were retired in the 5th. And it ends with a walk to Casey Borba. So now it's Parker Goff. He's 1 for 2 on the day, an RBI double in the 1st, and struck out looking in the 3rd. Goff, first pitch fastball taken for strike 1. Upper edge to Goff, and he's looking. As Borba gets a medium, regular size lead at first with a left-handed pitcher who comes set at the belt. Long hold now, kicks and deals, missing way up and away, and Firestone with a lunging attempt grabs it to prevent it from hitting the backstop. 1 ball and 1 strike to Parker Goff. As the golden glove on the right hand of Bronzini comes home. Fastball outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Goff started in 13 of the last 14 games with BYU at catcher, and he recorded 1 of 2 grand slams in the season, one of them in game-winning fashion, as he pokes that fastball the other way for a base hit. Rounding second and heading towards third is Casey Borba, and there's a single for Parker Goff. Second hit of the day for the Cougar from BYU. Real solid piece of hitting off Bronzini, who had been picking away up and away in the zone. Been getting some calls there on that fastball from both sides, and Goff did a nice job capitalizing on it and putting a solid swing on it for a base knock. So now the go-ahead run is at first base in Parker Goff. And the tying run 90 feet away in Casey Borba for Brendan Comerford, who is in search for his first hit of the day. Struck out swinging and grounded out to third back in the 4th inning. Brendan looks at the fastball upstairs for ball 1. Local kid growing up in Pleasanton, California, just a short drive away from Monte Vista High School. Appeared to be committed to St. Mary's before playing at Ohlone, as he pops this one softly on the right side. Camberg moving, and he can't get there. It drops right in front of the right fielder. The run, and Casey Borba comes around to score. The throw to third to get Parker Goff is in time. Bloop single from Brendan Comerford, but it does bring across a run and tie up this ball game 3-3. Dean Traynor began to strut out there. He gets sent straight back from third base coach Rene Regalado after Parker Goff went to take third on the softly hit single, and he's gunned out at the bag for the first out of the inning. So Brendan Comerford comes through in the clutch with that knock the opposite way. And it's now a tied ball game for Bryson Hoyer, switch hitter batting in the right-handed batter's box against the lefty Nick Bronzini. And so for Comerford, that's his 15th hit of the season, his 12th RBI. Hoyer watches that fastball skate across home plate. 2 balls and no strikes. Three runners reaching safely in a row for San Luis Obispo, and Hoyer wants to keep that streak alive. Slowly losing his command is Bronzini, and there's 3 straight balls to Bryson. One arm is getting loose in the Walnut Creek bullpen. Looks like it's Drew Aguiar. As the Bobcat from Saddleback College digs in on the 3-0 offering. Swinging 3-0, and he pops this one in foul ground. Going over to it is Kosciuszko, and he won't get there in time to catch it. 3 balls and 1 strike. Hoyer this past season with Saddleback, after bouncing back from Loyola Marymount, was 20 of 104 with 4 home runs and 2 doubles. Stole a couple bags as well out in Orange County. He redshirted his first season at LMU as a native of Paso Robles, California. Hoyer half swings at that off-speed pitch. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Runner at first in Brendan Comerford after Parker Goff was thrown out at third after trying to steal an extra 90 feet from the RBI single from Comerford. Hoyer in an athletic stance hits this hard down the left field line, and it's foul. Do it again at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Hoyer entering this game was 5 of 23, .217 batting average, batting in 6 runs with 1 home run, his first of the season yesterday. Sending it over the left field wall here at Monte Vista High School. And he moves out of the way of the fastball inside for ball 4. 4 base runners in a row for San Luis Obispo, but there's 1 out in the inning in what is now a tied ball game. Second walk for Bryson Hoyer. Still 0 for 1 on the day after his strikeout back in the second inning. And now a visit at the mound. Zachary Tollerman. Not sure I went with the full name there. Seemed like it would flow better. But Zach Tollerman awaits the huddle to break on the hill, as a new pitcher will come into this ball game, and it is Aguiar. So Nick Bronzini's day is done after 4 base runners in a row, and Drew Aguiar will come in for relief. We'll give you more on him. Stay with us on the SLO Blues streaming network. New noodle for the Walnut Creek Crawdads. It's Drew Aguiar up to face Zach Tollerman with runners on first and second. 1 gone here in the top of the 6th inning. Tollerman, who fills out the entire right-handed batter's box with his wide stance and his lanky 6'2 frame, takes a look at strike 1. First offering from Aguiar. Warming up in the bullpen on some short notice, had to come into the game to replace Nick Bronzini, who allowed a run to score, and here's a double steal throw down to second, and it's way into the outfield. Throw was so behind Royo that another run comes in to score, and Brendan Comerford and the Blues have taken the lead. Double steal pays off as it forced Firestone to make a throw that was wide right, and it landed in front of Cummings out in center field. Now an extra run 90 feet away, and Bryson Hoyer. No balls and 1 strike from Drew Aguiar as the entire infield crashes. As Zach Tollerman goes down. And so the umpire just sent Tollerman back to the dugout. And we're uncertain of what the situation is here. I think it was just a not great call from the umpire. There's some confusion on the count there as Constantine is first pitch swinging, and this one is going to land in the glove of Camberg for the 3rd out of the inning. So an interesting finish to the top half of the 6th inning, but the Blues do get 2, and they now lead this one 4-3 over the Crawdads. We'll head into the bottom half of this inning. I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blues Streaming Network. Bottom half of the 6th, and the Blues have taken the lead in this ball game. Coming around to score for San Luis Obispo was Brendan Comerford off the errant throw from Owen Firestone behind the dish in a double steal. Bryson Hoyer taking second base and Comerford taking third. They each got to move up another 90 feet, and it was a costly error from Firestone. Now a 4-3 ball game in favor of San Luis Obispo, as Ericus Pajunas heads back out there to face 7, 8, 9 for Walnut Creek. Standing in his way first, it's Jackson Bird, who's 0 for 2 on the day, a fly out to left field, and a double play ball. There's strike 1 to him, a fastball inner half of the zone to the left-handed hitting left fielder, batting 7th for Walnut Creek. So the Blues got 2 runs on 2 hits, an error, and they left 1 runner on base, as Pajunas leaves that one outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Bird, a Hornet from Sacramento State after growing up in Sacramento, entering his junior year. Off-speed pitch. Tallerman can't squeeze it, but Pajunas hustled over to first, flipped over to the bag in time. Excellent awareness from Ericus Pajunas to bust his tail over to first base and be there to Tallerman, who couldn't squeeze the line drive in his glove. And I get it. That thing was roped off the bat of Jackson Bird. It was a really good pitch from Pajunas as well, a curveball that was destined for some soft contact. It was top spun and hit hard to Tallerman. Just slipped right out of his glove, and Pajunas went over to first, and he could just flip it right over to him for the first out of the inning. As Nico Azpilcueta chases that fastball upstairs. No balls and 1 strike. 1 gone here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Fastball up in the zone. No balls and 2 strikes. Azpilcueta has already struck out twice this afternoon. He's 0 for 2 with a K looking and 1 swinging. The DH batting 8th awaits the offering from Pajunas, and he goes down swinging, strike 3. There's the second strikeout of the day for Ericus, and there's 2 gone here in the 6th inning. 3rd K of the day for Azpilcueta, and now it's Owen Firestone, the catcher, in his 3rd plate appearance today. Firestone made that error, that throwing error that brought across Brendan Comerford to take the lead for the Blues. And now he's looking to erase that mistake here as he takes a look at strike 1. former Cal Poly Mustang, has since entered the transfer portal. 1 for 10 this season in SLO. That's his line before entering today's game as he looks at 2 strikes in a row from Pajunas. Entering this inning, Pajunas had thrown 24 balls to his 24 strikes, 48 pitches, evened out perfectly. 0-2. Fastball is popped up, looks like it's playable in the infield. Firestone flips his bat. Jeffries calls off Tollerman. He has to come in on it, and he makes the grab for the 3rd out of the inning. 1-2-3 frame for Ericus Pajunas. We'll head to the top of the 7th inning. Blues still have the lead over the Walnut Creek Crawdads, 4-3. I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blues streaming network. New pitcher for Walnut Creek. Nick Bronzini's day is done as Drew Aguiar came into relief last inning, in the middle of last inning. Bronzini in 2 1/3 innings pitched, allowed 2 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Those strikeout numbers beginning to increase for San Luis Obispo. As we enter the top half of the 7th inning, it's the leadoff man, E.J. Royal, getting things started with a 4-3 lead over the Walnut Creek Crawdads, and he's here in a 1-1 count. Royal, for how dangerous he's been this season, has had a quiet afternoon. He's 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts swinging, and a grounder to short as he gets plunked by that fastball and is awarded first base safely for the first time today. That's Royal's fourth hit by pitch of the season, and it comes in leadoff form here in the 7th inning. So now it's Braden Jeffries. He's got a base hit sandwiched between 2 strikeouts swinging. He's first pitch swinging here, and he towers that one into left field, calling everyone off as Bird, and he makes the reaching grab for the first out of the inning. F7 from Brady Jeffries, the second baseman. 1 gone now for Jariah Lewis, who's 1 for 3 on the day. A double back in the first, came around to score after stealing third. Fly out to left, and a strikeout swinging. One of the 3 victims in the 5th inning who all went in order. E.J. Royal on first base with a 4-3 lead here in the 7th inning. Royal has 12 stolen bases so far this season. That's second on the team behind Jake Hicksonbaugh. Lewis looks at the fastball for strike 1. Outfield playing pretty shallow to Jariah has a throw over to first to get E.J. Royal is not in time. Third baseman Walker is playing awfully close to the infield grass. Middle infield at double play depth. Right-handed pitcher versus left-handed hitter in Jariah Lewis. One of the three in tonight's lineup as a throw back to first to get E.J. is not in time. Three left-handed hitters with an asterisk. Bryson Hoyer batting seventh is a switch-hitting outfielder for the Blues. One of the two switch hitters on the team as Jariah Lewis hits this one off the middle, at the end of the bat to Royal, who goes to second for one and on to first in time. That's the second call of this series where Jariah Lewis was blatantly safe at first, and the umpires blow it. So that will be a double play to end the inning. It's still 4-3 Blues heading to the bottom half of this frame. I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blues streaming network. Bottom of the seventh, and Ericus Bajunas heading back out there for his fourth inning of work. And he'll face the leadoff man, Casey Cummings, the center fielder. Then it's Cam Calvillo and Cole Kosciuszko. The Blues have the lead 4-3 over the Walnut Creek Crawdads entering the bottom half of the seventh inning. As Bajunas comes in on the fastball, it almost hits him. 2 balls and no strikes, and I guess it will hit him. He sold it well. He hung out in the batter's box, and he wins the Oscar for the Hit by Pitch Award. And so that's the second time, or the third time, that Cummings has reached base safely this afternoon. And it's a leadoff hit by pitch from the Texas Longhorn. No outs for Cam Calvillo, who's 2 for 3 on the day, 2 base hits, one in the fifth, one in the first, came around to score in the first, and flew out to E.J. Royal in center field with his heels at the base of the wall. Calvillo has to move out of the way of that fastball, no balls and 1 strike. And Bajunas has been everything Dean Traynor has wanted, and then some. Coming in, he did allow 1 run. It was unearned, however. After Harper allowed the 2, he's held down the Walnut Creek Crawdads pretty well. A couple goose eggs these past 2 innings. Or excuse me, goose egg in the last inning. Walnut Creek has scored in every other frame this game. They scored in the first, the third, and the fifth. We're here in the seventh, so you wonder if it'll happen again. Hard hit to center field, but E.J. Royal can just take a few steps to his right and squeeze it for the first out of the inning. Another fly out to center field for Cam Calvillo. He's now 2 for 4 on the day. 1 out now for Cole Kosciuszko. 1 for 2, a home run in the third and a grounder to short in the first. Also walked in the 5th inning, and he was eventually stranded at second base. the deadliest guy in the lineup for Walnut Creek, as Casey Cummings has a short lead over there at first base. And Pajunas nods and picks over to first. Not in time to get Casey Cummings. So it is another odd inning for Walnut Creek. They've scored in every odd inning this game. Now, I'm not superstitious, but I'm sensing a pattern. Taking off for second base is Cummings. The throw down is in time. Is the tag? No. Nice slide from Casey Cummings with the stolen bag there. This time it's successful. He was caught stealing back in the third inning. And was the difference between a home run from Kosciuszko that would either put them ahead in the ball game, but instead it tied it up. So that is Cummings' 8th stolen base of the season. As Kosciuszko hits this one to the right center gap, Jariah Lewis giving chase on it. It's going to one-hop the wall, but Jariah Lewis can snag it before it hits the wall. The game is now tied on an RBI double from Cole Kosciuszko. The man continues to terrorize leagues all across the CCL. And for Kosciuszko, rapidly approaching the 30s and runs batted in 60-plus at-bats. That's his 8th double of the season. More than Brendan Comerford, team leader in doubles for the Blues. So a tie ball game now after a double from Kosciuszko, and it's Isaiah Walker who looks at strike one. Walker is 1 for 2 on the day. An RBI single in the first, reached on fielder's choice in the 5th, and he walked in the 3rd. And he watches that fastball outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Walker heading into this game, 14-57, 256 batting average. And he has a runner in scoring position in Kosciuszko to take the lead. Hits this hard onto the right side and falls in front of Jariah Lewis, a base hit. He tries to barehand it in right field, and he botches it. That buys time for Kosciuszko to come around to score from second base. RBI single from Isaiah Walker after Jariah Lewis tried to barehand that ball off the one hop in right field. Couldn't come up with it, and it's 5-4 Walnut Creek. Back-to-back base hits for the Dads. Aiden Camberg, who's still looking for his first hit of the day, still trying to reach base for the first time today. Digs in now in his 4th plate appearance of the afternoon, as the pick over to first is not in time. More loud contact from Walnut Creek. You can't help but think the damage there could have been minimalized if Jariah Lewis put the glove on that ball instead of the fingertips. Pajunas with a deep sigh comes home from the stretch. Parker Goff blocks it right at his feet. Keeps it in front, 1 ball, no strikes. Left-handed hitting Aiden Camberg facing the right-handed pitching Ericus Pajunas. In his 4th inning of work, there's 1 out here and a runner on first base. Walnut Creek has the 5-4 lead over the Blues. Taking off for second. Great jump from Walker as this one's rocketed up the middle, through for a base hit. 3 hits in a row for the Dads, and there's runners at the corners. Almost took someone's head off from the bat of Aiden Camberg. His first hit of the day moves Isaiah Walker over to third base, who was taken off for second on the stolen base attempt. Now it's Ben Royal. He's 1 for 2, a single in the 2nd inning. He walked in the 4th. He was stranded on first base both of those times. He grounded out to shortstop back in the 5th inning. 5-4 ball game as Royal stands up tall in the right-handed batter's box, and he swings and misses at the first offering for strike 1. Royal, who has a career .421 slugging percentage, with the Owls at Rice University. Also has a career .234 average. As the slider just misses outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Saw a regression in his sophomore campaign out there in Houston, Texas, after earning Conference USA All-Freshman Team honors in 2023, where he slugged .505 at a .322 on base and hit for a .261 batting average in 48 hits. Fastball missing way upstairs, 2 balls and 1 strike. Saw some regression this past season. Instead of his 184 bats he had his freshman season, only had 77, 13 hits in that time. Just 5 runs batted in, 1 home run compared to the record-setting 13, in his senior season, or freshman season. And this one's hit on the ground left side. That's through for a base hit. Past the glove of Borba, as heading around to third base is Aiden Camberg. And another run comes in to score, and Isaiah Walker. Ball gets away, and now Camberg can run into home safely. Try to back pick to first, and advancing to second base is Ben Royo. 9 hits on the day for Walnut Creek, good for 7 runs, and the Dads are starting to pull away. And every time I talk about how not stitious I am, lo and behold, at the beginning of this inning, I talked about how Walnut Creek always scores in odd-numbered innings. We're here in the 7th, and it's a 4 spot for Walnut Creek. That one's on me. The broadcaster's curse is real, and I just have to accept that. So now it's Jackson Bird for his 4th time today with a runner in scoring position, and Ben Royo, a 7-4 lead for the Dads. Towered into right field, Jariah Lewis trots towards it. Tagging at second base is Royo, and he'll fake break over to third as the throw is picked by Borba at the bag. Just saved an extra 90 feet there for the Blues, as there's now 2 gone here in the 7th. Four hits in a row for Walnut Creek, enough to manufacture 4 runs in this frame. As getting pinch hit for Nico Azpilicueta's day is done. 3 Ks and a vicious reaction in the dugout. Helmets went flying, bats went flying. He hit his own top of the head with the bat. That had to hurt. So now it's a pinch hitter in Liao, who had the start yesterday, and he looks at the first offering for strike 1. Ethan Liao is a Gardner-Webb Bulldog. Entered yesterday's game 18 of 49, a .367 batting average. Before his time out in North Carolina at Gardner-Webb, he grew up in Dublin, California, and played for the Renegades at Ohlone College, where he was first-team All-Conference and was the conference batting champ. Ball in the dirt goes over the head of Parker Goff. He can't find it. Rounding third is Ben Royo, but he'll hold up there as Goff slides at the backstop to get that ball. Another run just 90 feet away for Ethan Liao. And just like yesterday's contest, a blow-up inning here in the 7th for Walnut Creek, as an arm gets loose in the bullpen for San Luis Obispo. Ethan Liao's .437 batting average was enough to earn him first-team All-Conference and award him the conference batting champ at Ohlone. And he scorches this one to center field. E.J. Royal backpedals at the wall. He makes the grab for the 3rd out of the inning, but the damage has been done. A 4-run inning for Walnut Creek. They now take the lead 7-4. The Blues are up next in the top of the 8th inning. I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blues streaming network. middle of the order for the San Luis Obispo Blues as they have their work cut out for them now. A 7-4 deficit against the Walnut Creek Crawdads after a 4 spot in the bottom half of the 7th inning. As Borba looks at the first offering downstairs, 1 ball and no strikes against Drew Aguiar, who came in to replace Nick Bronzini back in the 6th inning. He got 2 outs right after his replacement, and he's rolled ever since. A 4-6-3 double play in the 7th, and a fly out to left field as ball 2 is taken from Borba downstairs. 2 balls and no strikes. He got the strikeout looking. He got the fly out to right field from Tollerman and Constantine respectively. And looked really good in the 7th as well. The team leader in innings pitched as a broken bat right back to the pitcher in Aguiar. He fumbles it but then has enough time to flip it over to first for the first out of the inning. Some firewood for Casey Borba, and there's 1 gone here in the 8th. So now it's Parker Goff. He is 2 for 3 on the day, an RBI double in the first, and a single back in the 6th inning with the Blues rattled across 2 runs to take the lead. He was eventually thrown out at third base trying to stretch an extra 90 feet. And sandwiched in those 2 hits is a strikeout looking in the 3rd inning. Drew Aguiar wants a new baseball in a 7-4 ball game. Blues have 6 hits, and the Walnut Creek Crawdads have 9. From the stretch, here comes Aguiar to Goff, and there's a fastball taken for a strike. Here's some more on Aguiar. He's a Cal State University Monterey Bay Otter after spending a season at Sierra College, 2 seasons at Sierra College with the Wolverines. As Parker Goff takes a look at ball 1. Committed to play baseball in Monterey, and he spent last season there with a .324 average, made 8 appearances, 8 and a third innings pitch, 11 strikeouts, 3 earned runs. As Goff checks his swing, but it doesn't matter. It's called a strike 2 anyway. Earned his spot with the powerhouse in California Division II baseball after a 4.09 ERA and a 2 whip his sophomore year with the Wolverines at Sierra College. He's now entering his senior season, playing for a school that their mascot is my favorite animal. 1-2, just missing outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Guys, ever think about that? I know most of you are listening from San Luis Obispo. I know you probably make the visit up to Morro Bay every once in a while and check out the bay and look at the otters that are hanging out in the seaweed. Don't you ever just wish you could be them for a day? Taking up and away is Parker Goff, filling it up at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Just basking in the sun, eating clams, getting heckled at by children, but you can't even hear it because it's just so peaceful in the Morro Bay. Getting distracted here on the payoff pitch from Aguiar as this one's popped up and out of play. Do it again at 3 balls and 2 strikes, 1 out here in the 8th inning. I will say, too, I think Otters is the most fitting nickname for a school that I can think of. Think of mascots of schools. Mustangs are up there, another local school in San Luis Obispo. There are many in the area. Towered into center field. Having to come in on it is Cummings. Middle infield converging with the center fielder, but he calls everyone off, and Cummings makes the grab for the 2nd out of the inning. Fly out to center to Cummings. There's 2 gone. And now it's Brendan Comerford for the 4th time today. And Comerford spoke with his father in pregame. Kevin Comerford, met him. Excellent man. Shout out to Kevin. I asked him to give me a couple nuggets on his son, the Ohlone College Renegade. He was batting 6 for the Blues today. He's 1 for 3. He told me to talk about his girlfriend that he's been dating for 4 years. Shout out to Brendan and Brooke doing the long distance. He checks the swing. Doesn't matter. It's in there for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike to the romantic Brendan Comerford. A single back in the 6th. He scored on an error in that same inning. And he softly hits this one right back to the pitcher in Aguiar, who goes over to first. And there's the 3rd out of the inning. Blues go in order as we enter the bottom half of this frame. 7-4 Crawdads. I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blues Streaming Network. Bottom of the 8th, a 7-4 ball game in favor of Walnut Creek. And a new pitcher, and for the SLO Blues, it's Jack Sand. Came into relief yesterday for the Blues. Saw 3 batters, walked all 3 of them. Part of that fateful 7th inning. Kept his pitch count to a minimum, just seeing those 3 batters. So arm is healthy enough today to replace Ericus Pajunas, who exits this game with 4 innings of work. 5 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks to 2 strikeouts. And the Walnut Creek Crawdads have struck out 3 times today, and all of them have come from Nico Azpilcueta. Just shows you how dialed in these hitters are for Walnut Creek. They've thrown up 7 runs on 9 hits to have the lead over the Blues as Owen Firestone walks to lead off things here in the bottom of the 8th inning. That's Firestone's 2nd walk of the day. He's still 0 for 2 with his pop out to second and a fly ball to right field. A leadoff base runner here for Walnut Creek as we'll flip it over to the top of the order in Casey Cummings. He walked himself in the 3rd, and he's still in search of his first base hit of the day. So Cummings in his 1 season at Chabot College, after playing in 9 games with 4 at-bats at USD with the Toreros. In 1 season with Chabot in 2023, he was selected as a first-team All-State player. He was tied for 3rd in the state with home runs and led Chabot in a number of categories. As he looks at strike 2 from Jack Sand, no balls and 2 strikes. Led him an average, stolen bases, slugging, and on-base percentage. The Longhorns thought he'd be a great fit for them, and he played in 6 games down in Austin last year. Left-hander hits Cummings' back knee with that curveball. Not a pleasant sound to hear. Caught the end of the patella for Jack Sand. And that's the 2nd hit by pitch of the day for Casey Cummings. He was hit by pitch last time he was up in the 7th. Back-to-back free ones for Walnut Creek. Runners on 1st and 2nd now for Cam Calvillo, the shortstop batting 2nd today, who's 2 for 4. Came around to score in the first, a fly out to center, and another one back in the 7th. Two identical-looking swings and results with E.J. Royal awfully deep at the warning track making the grabs. He fouls that one straight back, no balls and 1 strike. Calvillo, the league leader in walks, doesn't have any today. Team leader as well. Checks a swing and hits it over the Walnut Creek dugout. No balls and 2 strikes. And something I want to mention that when Jack Sand came in to this inning and throw his warm-up pitches, I'd like to thank the music crew here at Monte Vista High School Field for playing Enter Sandman. That's just perfect. 0-2 is hit on the ground right side. Tallerman's got it. Throw over to first for 1. Back to first. Constantine won't do it. Advancing up another bag is Owen Firestone. Runners at the corners after a force out at second base, retiring Casey Cummings. So 1 gone in this frame, and it's Cole Kosciuszko, the deadliest hitter in this lineup, on this team, and potentially in the league. Kosciuszko is first pitch swinging, and he pops this one up and out of play for strike 1. Runners at first and third, 7-4 lead for Walnut Creek. Bottom of the 8th inning, Cole Kosciuszko up. He's 2 for 3 on the day. Breaking ball missing downstairs, 1 ball and 1 strike. So 2 extra base hits. Both of his hits are for extra bases for Kosciuszko. An RBI double in the 7th, a home run in the 3rd, and he grounded out to short to begin things in the 1st inning. Goes the other way and fouls it out of play once again. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jack Sand is up. Sand, the UW Husky left-hander, coming in to replace Pajunas from Aliso Viejo, California, entering his sophomore season after being ranked the 15th left-handed pitcher in the state of California in high school. First team All-League honors as well. Down in Southern California as Kosciuszko goes the other way. Hit pretty well. Hoyer scaling the wall, and he makes the grab ranging to his right. Tagging up from third, though, is Owen Firestone. And there's the second out of this inning and the 8th run of this ball game. Sacrifice fly from Cole Kosciuszko. And the lead now at 4 runs for Walnut Creek. So now it's Isaiah Walker. He's got 2 hits of his own today. He's 2 for 3. 2 singles, and he came around to score in the 7th. RBI single in the 1st, and there's strike 1 to him. 2 gone here with a runner on first base. A right on left matchup. Checks a swing. It's in there for a strike. Slouched in the right-handed batter's box. He awaits the offering from the Husky, Jack Sand. Kicks and deals. Fastball just missing outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Isaiah Walker. Entering the transfer portal after 3 seasons with the Roadrunners at Texas San Antonio. Short lead over at first base from Cam Calvillo. That one misses way downstairs. Good stop from Parker Goff. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The lead in this game would be drastically higher if Parker Goff weren't the backstop today for the Blues. This one's roped in the left center gap, and it falls for a base hit. Rounding second base is Cam Calvillo. The throw comes into the infield, and Isaiah Walker with his 3rd single of the day. Lighting up the radar gun with that ball coming off the barrel of Isaiah Walker. And the 2-out knock moves Cam Calvillo to third base. So now it's Ryan Camberg, who singled in the 7th. That was his first base hit of the day after grounding out twice and popping out to the first baseman Tollerman in foul ground. And he looks at the fastball, just missing outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Runners at first and third, 8-4 lead for Walnut Creek. They snagged another run in this inning off the sacrifice fly from Cole Kosciuszko. Sand, with a deep breath, takes a look at first, now picks over, and getting back in time is Walker. Camberg in the left-handed batter's box, wearing the UC Santa Barbara batting gloves and Evo shield, awaiting the left-handed offering. Has taken off for second base as Walker. The throw down is not in time. They'll go back to home, and that's not in time either. Nice timing on the jump from Cam Calvillo to take off from the one-hop throw to second base in Constantine. And there's the ninth run of this game for Walnut Creek. Smart base running from the Dads and timely hitting has been the name of the game and why Walnut Creek has taken advantage. Stolen bag for Isaiah Walker. He had one yesterday as well. As Camberg moves out of the way from the fastball, 3 balls and no strikes. Walker entered this game with 2 stolen bags, and he has 3 stolen bags, and he has 2 today. Breaking pitch just missing low, and there's ball 4. Didn't miss by much. There's runners now at first and second for the Dads. 2 outs here with Jack Sand on the mound. Back-to-back base runners for the Dads, as it's now Ben Royo. He's 2 for 3 today. He advanced to third on an error where he was eventually stranded in the 7th inning. He grounded to shortstop in the 5th, stranded at first on his walk and his single in the 2nd and 4th inning. And there's 5 straight balls from Jack Sand, and now Parker Goff has a talk over with his southpaw. And some more on Jack Sand. He played at Korean Lutheran High School in Aliso Viejo, and he participated in the Orange County All-Star Game. In his first season with the Huskies up in Seattle, he pitched in 8 2/3 innings, 13 strikeouts to his 7 walks, and a 5.19 ERA. Entering his sophomore season next year, but before he does, coming into relief for the Blues. 6 straight balls from Jack Sand, as he aggressively catches that throwback from Parker Goff in frustration. The red glove on his right hand matching his mood right now after allowing 2 runs this inning. And there's a fastball in there for a strike. Sand stares down Goff, gives him the sign with runners on first and second. Offset from the stretch. Here he comes. There's an off-speed pitch in there for a strike. Nicely placed curveball, starting in the middle of the zone, broke down. Didn't break enough to completely drop out. Good job by Sand, going back 2 strikes in a row after throwing 6 balls. Left-hander looks at second, now comes home to the right-handed hitter who pops this one into center field. Converging on it is Constantine and Royal. Constantine calls him off, backpedaling, and there's the 3rd out of the inning. The Walnut Creek Crawdads get 2 more. Owen Firestone comes in on the sacrifice fly from Kosciuszko, and Cam Calvillo comes in to score on a double steal. It's 9-4 Walnut Creek. This is the Blues' last chance heading into the top of the 9th inning. I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blues Streaming Network. bottom of the order for the Blues after surrendering 2 runs in the past inning in the 8th. Jack Sand allowed Owen Firestone and Cam Calvillo to come in to score off a sac fly and a double steal. So now it's Bryson Hoyer up to face Drew Aguiar, heading back out there to close things in this ballgame. A 9-4 lead for Walnut Creek as Hoyer goes chasing after that breaking ball in the dirt. No balls and 1 strike. Hoyer checks his swing, frustrated as he takes his time heading back into the batter's box. No balls and 2 strikes. Looking for his first hit of the day. He has a stolen bag, reaching on base safely twice with his 2 walks. He was straight in scoring position both times. Swings and misses for strike 3. First out of the inning goes a strikeout to Bryson Hoyer. That's the second K of the afternoon for Aguiar. 1 gone, and it's Zach Tullerman, the new San Jose State Spartan as of this morning. Announced on the Instagram today that he will be heading to South Bay after spending his first Division I season at UC Riverside with the Highlanders. He's also hitless today, a grounder to short and a pop out to center field as he checks his swing. It's called a strike anyway, 0-1 to Tullerman. Also struck out swinging in the 6th inning. A trend, and a trait which has been on the uprise for the Blues lately. Pounds this one into the ground. Cavillo on the run, picks it and throws it over to first, and another great scoop from Kosciuszko to retire the Spartan for the second out of the inning. Great play on both ends. A nasty pick from Cavillo at short, and an even better scoop from Kosciuszko at first. 2 outs gone now in the top of the 9th. And it comes down to Gavin Constantine as the Blues trail by 5 runs. Constantine is 1 for 3 on the day, a double back in the second, a strikeout swinging, and a fly ball to right field. Chokes up on his bat, and he looks at the first offering for strike 1. Walnut Creek Crawdads ready to explode in joy as they're just a few pitches away from a 2-game sweep with the Blues. 0-1, very uncomfortable swing on the slider for strike 2. Drew Aguiar has just been tying up these Blues hitters here in the 9th inning. A lot of swings, second-guessing themselves. As Constantine awaits the 0-2. Here it comes, fastball taken for strike 3. Outside corner from Drew Aguiar, and this ball game is over. A 9-4 victory for Walnut Creek. It'll be a tough bus ride for the Blues heading back home to San Luis Obispo as the Dads go 2-0 over the Blues in this CCL matchup. We welcome you back into the broadcast booth, and what the Blues were hoping to be a comeback win today against the Crawdads. You come into yesterday's game, it was very contested. You had the lead 6-5 over Walnut Creek. It's so tangible. It's very possible, and the Blues play them again later in July. They can still rattle a couple of wins there as well. But today you just felt like a must-win game, just to keep the spirits high, just to keep the juices flowing for the Blues. They're on a 3-game losing streak. It has now increased to 4, and all the other games playing today are still to be determined, but heading into the contest this afternoon, the Blues were tied for 3rd place with the San Francisco Seagulls. So behind them, it's Sonoma and the Alameda Merchants. Now, based on how Sonoma performed today, the Blues might even drop to 4th in the CCL North, a 4-game losing streak as the Dads improve into a 3-game winning streak. They were previously on a 5-game one before losing to the Seagulls a few days prior, but they're now streaking once again, 3 in a row, and 2 of them coming at the expense of San Luis Obispo. I think what was good seeing today was the pitching that came through for the Blues. I think Thomas Harper looked good. Ericus Pajunas had the blow-up inning with the 4 runs, and Jack Sand was able to have a bounce-back afternoon. It's great to see that after allowing those 3 walks in a row in that 9-run 7th inning yesterday with the Walnut Creek Crawdads. So now he's able to hit his stride a little bit. Thankful we didn't have to see any position players. The Dean was only used the pitchers that he had on hand, so that was good to see. He was able to spare some arms coming from the position players in the dugout. And I think there's one thing you just got to tip your cap to the Walnut Creek hitters. There's only 3 strikeouts in today's game for Crawdads hitters, and they all came from one guy in the lineup. No one else struck out in today's game. They rattled across so many hits and so many runs, and they had that blow-up inning. I think that's a key to a lot of the Crawdads' success, is that they just turn on a switch in a half of an inning, and all of a sudden they're boat racing whatever team they're playing, and that was the case here with the Blues. I think on the Blues offensive side of things, they've been efficient all year, and they continue to do so. They still put up a decent amount of runs in 4. It's not going to necessarily win you most ball games, but I think what's frightening to see as a Blues fan is the strikeout numbers continuing to escalate for San Luis Obispo. The heads are pulling, the shoulders are flying open, the approaches are starting to wane, they're not getting in as deep counts. So I think when Dean Traynor and his Blues head back to the bus ride down to San Luis Obispo, those are just some things to think about, as hopefully they'll have a much healthier and available pitching staff going forward. There's some rumors swirling around about some reinforcements of pitchers coming in. Matt Morrell from Oregon State is going to be a key asset coming out of the bullpen and potentially even starting for the Blues. So that'll wrap it in today's ball game here from Monte Vista High School Field up here in Walnut Creek, California. We will see you guys this weekend back at the crib, back at Sinsheimer, but I'll be still here on the SLO Blues Streaming Network calling the balls and strikes and much more for your SLO Blues. They dropped this one 9-4 over the Walnut Creek Crawdads, and they're on a 4-game losing streak, folks. The Blues look to bounce back Friday night at 6 p.m. Be sure to tune in then on the SLO Blues Streaming Network. Have a great night, everyone. I'm Nate Mills.